Aloha and welcome to Wisdom Dialogues with Hope Johnson, coming to you from Hawaii paradise on the beautiful big island of Hawaii. Yay. Oh, I already have a question. What is the white stuff that I'm drinking? Well, it's ginger and lemon drink that I got from a local juice bar, and it was super strong. So what I did was drink a little bit, almost got the hiccups, it seemed like. And then I put water in there to dilute it down. And then I put honey in it. And then I put fresh cow cream from the Krishnas in it too, to make it white. Yay. So if no thoughts are meaningful, then why keep any thought that hurts you? If none of them are meaningful, then why would you keep it? That's really, I mean, just ask yourself the question. Why would I keep that? If something hurts and none of them are meaningful, then why would I keep that one? See, you have the choice in that. You're the one who's making a choice in that. So if something seems like it's like you have to pursue it, but it's hurting you, that's how you know. And just watch that. Watch yourself pursue it. That's what I do. That's how I do it. I just watch myself pursue it. Like if there's a thought and it's hurting me, I watch it. And then through watching it, I get tired of beating myself up. and you know, the more you see, the quicker it goes. And you know, you can only see as much as you're willing to see. So the thing is, we get really attached to our stories. Like we'll get an upset feeling, you know, maybe have a reaction. Let's say you saw a friend that you haven't seen in a while and you made eye contact with them and you waved at them, but they just totally ignored you. Or maybe worse, maybe they gave you a stink eye, right? And so then you can't pay attention to anything because you're swimming around with these thoughts about how, you know, what they might think of you and how you look. And, you know, it's all image, it's all self-image stuff, but it seems really real because you're gripped emotionally. That's the thing. There's a sense, there's a feeling sense that makes this really seem like it's important to chase it around. So, you know, being light with it. And in the watching of the playing out, it's not like you have to do anything. You don't even have to change your focus. You kind of take a back seat, like almost like you step back from it and you're watching the play with awareness only, non-judgmental awareness of what you're doing to yourself, because you can see what thoughts are being pursued, right? You see what thoughts are being pursued and how they feel in the moment. And really, that's all you need to see. The thing is, people will think, I can't do this. Okay. That becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. That's how it is. I can't do this. I'll never get it. But it's just, it's so close and so simple, you know, it's just it's really just, this thought doesn't mean anything to me. And therefore, what do I feel like focusing on right now? It's just like kind of, it's natural for you because you're naturally joyful. So if something that you're thinking about and, you know, you don't really even think, you choose to pursue thought. The thought seems like it's coming from you because it sounds like you. It sounds like your voice, but it's not you. It's an imposter. If there's any thought that hurts you, no matter how real it seems, see, you've made them really real for you. That's the thing. You know, I'll even notice when my mind goes to like this clothing company. I talked about this on Friday too. I'll use anything. I don't really care what it is. This clothing company, you know, the thought occurred to me this morning. I just can't believe that they won't make custom clothes for me. you know, and then immediately I notice what that is. It's just a meaningless thought. So when I notice it's a meaningless thought, I can immediately have relief from it. It's actually a thought that hurts. A lot of the times these recognize the world to think about what be doing. Why won't they just do that for you? That doesn't mean you shouldn't be thinking it. That's a completely different thing. It's just that if you find yourself pursuing that thought, remember, you're not capable of thinking it. So if you find yourself pursuing that thought, well, let's say when, because you find yourself pursuing all these crazy thoughts all day long. When you find yourself pursuing a crazy, insane thought, which happens all day long, noticing that that's what's going on, because see, what's happening is it's going unnoticed that it is an insane thought and a meaningless thought. It's going unnoticed that you're making it meaningful and therefore attacking yourself. What does it mean when you attack yourself? Uneasy. It makes you feel uneasy to pursue that thought. So why do you keep on? The thought's going to get you out of uneasiness, but it won't, because there's no future moment. All that's going on is you're just projecting uneasiness with it. Okay. It's like you're never going to get what you want by projecting what you don't want. See, anything seems to make you angry or irritated or anything like that, that thing needs to be forgiven, because you made the image like something that harms you. So it's like you withdraw the power you gave it when you forgive that. It's like, what I think is there, what I think this situation is, what I think that person thinks of me is completely meaningless. See? And when you're exposing your mind to the truth like that, in the midst of being pulled like that, that's where, what's called holy fire takes place. It's an intensity. It's an intensity that you learn to like, that you learn to enjoy, because it's an intensity that allows you to see through what you're using to keep yourself limited and held in this space where things can bother you. I mean, it would really suck. And, it's been my experience too, where I felt like people can take my peace away. Like they could do something that could take my peace away. And, it's funny because it'll come up all day long, like I'll have the thought, what if that person does this? And that's just one of those thoughts. It's as if that could take my peace away. It's like, who minds what happens? It's idle. It's also known as idle thinking, but it's not really idle, because all thoughts are making effects in your dream. They're powerful to make effects. Everything that you get a perception of is the effects of every thought that you've pursued up until that point in time. They seem to all hurt. What does all hurt tell me? Every single thought trajectory. Oh yeah, that's right. Good. I'm glad you see that. Isn't that so fun? Yeah, that's right. Because it's all a contraction. Every single thought about the world is a contraction. It's a contraction of the energy. And look, the only reason you pursue any thought is because it seems like you have to. Okay. It seems like you have to. So just watching, these it's almost like they come up to bother you. Like you're just having a nice peaceful time. Maybe you're noticing a nice breeze. You feel a breeze caressing your arms, and then all that will come up about how someone looked at you yesterday and what were they thinking and all this. And it's like, who are you to talk to me like that? That's not even about me. That's not even relevant. It doesn't even make any sense. It's just funny. See, but when you're not seeing it that way, you're seeing it like it's something important. And it seems like I'm a crazy broad coming around and saying, hey, that stuff doesn't really mean anything. Um, like I got stories too. I could tell you some sad stories. I just know they don't mean anything. I think it's funny when they come up, like they just come along in the play where the sad story will take place. I might get all misty eyed and stuff. But I love it because I like to see through it. And feeling is the way through. It really is. Feeling is the way through. You get that intense feeling and you kind of like ride it like a roller coaster. Watch where it takes you. Instead of getting run over by it, right? So you can jump in the car and enjoy the feeling sensation, or you can get run over by it. And that's basically what you do when you pursue the thoughts that prop it up without awareness. Let's just say without awareness, because you could find yourself pursuing those thoughts knowing that they are meaningless, but you don't fully see that yet, and you're using it to see. That's the thing. Everything, doesn't matter what it is, you can use it for seeing. So one of my friends was talking about how fucked up her mom is. She was doing this on Facebook. And it's funny that I see the Facebook post because like lately I have not been cruising Facebook. Like once in a while I'll go on there and I'll just see like the first one or two posts that pop up out of like 4,000 friends. Okay. So whenever anything just comes up, I'm like, that's just, I love it. It's like, oh, that's awesome. It's perfect for me. So my friend was doing this thing about how her mom is a total mess. In fact, she put some kind of paper, some kind of official paper about narcissistic mothers up, to help people to show them how her mother is really a narcissistic, is that how you say it? Mother. Okay. So I was like, that's interesting because that friend of mine normally like really tuned in. I think she's like kind of like tripping balls for a minute. So I just type in there, she's talking about how she's writing a letter to the dad and aunts and uncles or something to let them know what kind of mental problem her mom has and how abusive her mom has been her whole life. So I go, okay, well, okay, so read that letter to yourself, because the letter to yourself, there's no mom. There is no mom. Okay. So you're trying to convince yourself. You actually have convinced yourself, but you don't want to face the music. So you're projecting it out to your mom that she's the one who's got mental problems. Basically, you're projecting onto yourself that you are mentally not up to the task of living. And the thing is, you use your mom, you're always using anyone in your field that is wrong or seems like they've abused you or anything like that. You're using them to hide the fact that you're making yourself into that. Okay. It's only because you feel inadequate that you would use your mom like that. Okay. She's really showing you exactly what you want to see through. So this feels really good to see through too. It is amazing because you got this image of your mom like she's been an abuser. In fact, she's still being a manipulative abuser. So for my friend, the mom's not a physical abuser. So, it's not like she has to like take cover and get away from her mom or anything, but her mom gives a really mean stink eye is what my friend is manifesting in her mom. She gives a mean stink eye and then she starts manifesting people and just makes hell in her house. Okay. So I know this kind of energy. This is like a normal average American mom, actually, because I hear from so many people and this is just like, this is commonplace. Okay. And, a person who is using their situation to manipulate and stuff like that, that person is scared. They're like a scared child. So all they're doing anytime that you get a perception of them being abusive or manipulative in your field is they're asking you for love. They're asking you for love. And, they're asking for it in your name because you're the one who needs it. Okay. They don't really need anything from you. They don't really need any healing from you like that, like you might think, because they are you. So they're asking for it for you. And when you allow it for them, when you just like open the floodgates of the heart and allow it for them, then you're fed. It's so beautiful. You won't even believe how beautiful it is. And you know what? You will find it 100% worth it. I know it's painful. I know it's not easy to go through something like that where it seems like your mom is so abusive or anything. But believe me, if you're willing to see that you made it all up, and I know the ego can't take that. That sounds terrible to the ego that you made it all up. What do you mean? I made up that my mom did all this stuff to me and I really did it to myself? Yes, that is exactly what's going to give you what you need to see through. Your willingness to lean into that. I know it's not easy to believe. I know people have a really hard time with that. But if you would just be a little bit willing to just lean into that, it'll be shown to you and you'll get the relief, and everyone will feel so good in each other's presence because you got the relief. You see? So it's like they're feeding off of your energy because they're in your field. You don't see them as they are. You see them as you thought you wanted them to be. Okay. And now you're projecting that you don't want them to be that way. That's just the game you play with yourself. Okay. You are projecting them the way you thought you wanted to see. They don't deserve anything less than gratitude from you. So, when I brought that out to my friend got a little bit self-conscious and of course, started to defend the action of writing the letter to the people and telling them that the mom is crazy. So that's a lot of the times where people get, people get things confused, even if they're hearing from spirit or they're hearing from someone else who's giving them some information, thinking that they're guilty. There's no guilt in it. It doesn't matter if you do the letter saying that your mom has whatever and she's a narcissist and she's abusive and something's wrong with her mind. It doesn't matter if you do that thing because you're not doing anything. You're dreaming it. And you need to take it as if you're saying that stuff to yourself because you are. That's all. Like, let the thing play and take it as if you're saying that to yourself because you are. I don't know. Some of you might remember when I did COVID dialogues. Remember when I was an activist and I did COVID dialogues every week. And every week I'd come and I'd say, man, I'm not doing anything. I'm just stroking myself, okay? Because I made this whole thing up. I want these things to be this way so that they can give me this purpose right now, to be an activist, because that's what is being called of me. It just unfolds. That's what's being called learning, for teaching and learning. Again, it's always like that. So it's not like, no, the action isn't anything. It's nothing. I'm not saying you shouldn't write the letter at all. It's nothing like that. Whether you write the letter or not, you look at it, you're looking at things in a different way. You're opening up to seeing things differently. That doesn't mean managing your actions. Managing your actions and even thinking in terms of managing your actions is seeing as the ego wants you to see. Okay, so we're not talking about actions. We're using our perception of the action for healing. Okay. So look, you're not going to write a letter to let people know that your mom is this, 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 and this, unless you still want to believe that about her. Do you still want to believe that about her? So as long as I wanted to believe something about the government, I found myself as an activist. One day, it was not important to me anymore. And then I found myself not an activist. And, whatever it is that you're guided through, look, you're being guided through anything you find yourself doing. And the Holy Spirit can use anything. So it doesn't matter what it is. You're using it for burning through the veils. Okay. It's confusion that anyone can do anything to you, especially it's because of a mental problem. The moment I wake up, I feel it in my belly. It's almost immediate, from a nice sleep to a contraction. Yes, that's right. Because when you wake up in the morning, it's just funny to say wake up. That's why I hesitate. I'm like, wake up. Uh, anyways, that's what we call it. When you awaken from your nighttime slumber, and you and for a second, you don't even know who you think you are. You're right. You don't really know who you think you are. It's like this. This is what it seems like to me. It's like there's all this energy in the form of cells, and the cells like download who you are real fast as soon as it's time. It's like it's like just there's all this talking about who you are. Um, and what you do, and like, even if it's time to meditate, like for me, I wake up, first thing I do when I wake up, at least the first thing I have been doing for the past, I don't know how long, is go for a meditation. So that's the first thought, that breath, gratitude, first thing, some gratitude, go for meditation. Other thoughts come and go, come and go, come and go. I just watch them slide. End of my meditation period, whatever that is. It's been like a half hour or something lately. Then some thoughts about like what's awesome come up, play with, but still watchful as to whether or not they're relevant, whether or not those thoughts are relevant, because it's so easy to get tripped off on stupidity. This morning I went into my book, The Way to the Way, the Big Book of Hope, which I haven't gone in, and I went into it yesterday, and I got pretty far along actually, and then today I went into it again, and when I'm working on that kind of stuff, it's just there's no outside thoughts, because it's like when I'm in a mode where I'm getting it ready to write, or wisdom dialogues or something like that, I'm just tuned into a certain field. And when I go into business, my business, Miracle Botanicals, today I was doing a lot of shipping. I actually had a lot of orders today. That was really fun. Doing a bunch of worky stuff like that. A bunch of diff vibe kind thoughts seem to creep in more often. And the thing is, just like being playful with them, just like welcoming them and being playful with them, but no need to use them to abuse. That's all. You don't need to use them to abuse yourself. It's like, oh, okay. A thought of, oh yeah, I got to do that. Okay, back to focusing on this. Here's another thing. I don't write a bunch of stuff down. Once in a while, I'll find myself writing something down. But a lot of different ideas and thoughts come through. I don't find myself writing them down. Instead, the way it goes is I'll just return my focus to what I'm focused on, because I know that thought will come around again if I need it. So I don't have to try to grab it right out of the air. And like, I don't want to be that conceptualized in my life anyways. It's like these thoughts are swimming around anyways. If it's important, it'll swim back around. I don't need to do anything with it. I don't even know what's in my best interest. So why would I want to do anything with it? That's no idea what's in my best interest. So there's nothing to banter around with that, right? Got a cute text message from my daughter today. It was amazing. She texted me something from about 12 years ago that she wrote. Let's see if she gave it to me. Well, maybe it went away already. She wrote something about 12 years ago that she wrote about how, if you relax and just allow the flow to take you. She just had like, the way she wrote it was just really beautiful. Of her diving, that's back in the days when she'd do diving, and it's just amazing to see something like that, because all the transitions that we've all been through since then, since 2010, it's like My daughter went away from that teaching for a while, went on a totally different journey, totally different vibe, rejecting anything that had to do with being able to relax and go with it, and feeling like she had to work, 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 to coming back again, coming back around again, full circle. And I guess she got a memory come up about that one. She's like, Mom, look at this. And I'm like, that is so cute. It's so amazing. Um, that it just all comes right back like that. And it's, oh, here she is writing. Everything you do is all about your energy. Oh, she wrote it to me. Everything you do is all about your energy. If you have too high, too low, or desperate energy, things may not work out in your favor. Yeah, because it's not a matter of what is coming as far as a manifestation. It's already not working out in your favor if you're gripping to it. So too high, too low. That's like too high is like gripping energy, too low, resisting energy. That's how I look at that. Or desperate energy, right? It's all desperation. Things may not work out. That they're not going to work out because you're projecting that energy going forward. Or you may attract uneasy situations. Yes, because you make them uneasy. There's no situation that's uneasy unless you make it uneasy. That's just how it is. Whatever your actions may be, if you keep consistent and easy energy, nice, Sakaya, things will be easily manifested. Yeah, that's because no one's minding. I wrote this in 2010. I was 18, not diving yet. Oh, you weren't diving. Didn't you have a diving picture with it? I thought you did when I looked it up on Facebook. Yeah. And you know, for us, like for me and Akea, she was only 18. So cute. For me and Akea, we've been looking in this direction for a while. I remember something that kicked it off, huh, Akea, when you came home from high school one day and you're telling us how nothing's even here. Like nothing's even here. And your dad was like, don't tell me that things aren't here. I see it. I feel it. It's solid. Don't tell me. But then you told him. You told him why, even though he can feel it, even though he can see it, it's not really there. I think that really, oh, that's your profile picture right now. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. So for me and Akea, we got really interested in stuff. I think she was 17. I think you were like 17, huh, Akea? When we started going to those psychics, we used to hang out with all those psychics. They were like channeling psychics, and I found them, looked them up. I think the internet, I just looked them up on the internet. I'm like, we got to find some freaking spiritual people around these parts. We don't know what we're doing. All we know is this shit ain't real. We started doing that when you were 16. So me and Akea would go, and you know, we're just like Orange County chicks that like mall chicks, right? And we found out that the world isn't real. So we're looking for psychics. We went to channeling classes. We have no idea where to start. So we went to this place called, what was it called? It was something Light Foundation. Past life meditation. Yeah, past life meditations. These they do tarot cards and different stuff like that. There was a what was that called? It's not a mediation, but it's similar to that word. And they bring in dead people. What's that one? So they bring in dead, like they bring around dead people. Anyways, my favorite was channeling class. That was my favorite thing because they would just like tap in, and I was like, this is freaking awesome. They just like sit there, and all of a sudden this entity would come through them, and it would trip me out, you know, because it would be like, wow, that thing just talks right through them, and they would say amazing things. And I heard amazing things in those channeling classes, like some really good teachings, you know, like some really solid stuff. Like, hey, it seems really simple, but whenever you see anything in nature, appreciate it. That'll help you a lot. Like that was like one of those brilliant teachings I ever got. Mediumship. Yes, that's what I was talking about. all those most brilliant teachings ever. Just whenever you see nature, just appreciate it, you know. They bring out the highest teachings in those channelings. It was anyone that came through, Mother Mary, what is it? These different angels, Archangel Michael, whatever, all these different things. I was like, wow, this is amazing. So I went to get in the meditation, the way they, or not meditation, what is it called? Channeling, the channeling chair. Okay. So they have a special chair for channeling. And whenever you're called to get up, you're all in a circle and go sit in the channeling chair. Then you just get up and go sit in the channeling chair. So I'm over there and I'm watching it and I'm like, whoa, all of a sudden I'm up and I'm going to sit in the channeling chair. Like I could tell in that moment, I didn't have a choice in that, but I was up and I was sitting in the channeling chair. So at the time, the main psychic person, I think that's a good thing to call him, I don't know, giving me Reiki at the same time, which is basically like pure love energy. The way you look at it is energy coming from the heart through the hands, and it's just a beautiful energy. I always feel it. I love it. And then you're there and everyone's waiting for you to channel. So I start hearing her energy's too strong. I can't get in, you know? And I start hearing these two women talking and I'm like, what is going on? I don't know. I just feel this really strong energy, like something is moving a lot. And then I'm hearing things. So anyways, the energy stopped and then I got out of the chair without really channeling anything. And I just said, who was talking? Who was that talking? And they said, we weren't talking. And then that's when I realized, I was like, oh, I'm not letting people come into my field like that. I'm not letting spirits in. That's what they were talking about. Like they, I guess, didn't know I could hear them. And they were just kind of like, we can't get in there. That's too strong of an energy. Like not. But what I realized was that this channeling thing, what people are tapping into, basically we've all got it. And it doesn't have to be a entity taking over yourself. Basically, you know, if you're allowing an energy to take over yourself, that's what you want. That's perfect for you. But that's not necessary, because there's the thought system that resonates with truth, and there's the thought system that resonates with the world. Okay. And there's those two thought systems in the mind. So you just tap into the one that resonates with truth by making anything that resonates at the world level meaningless. That's how. Because automatically, what's left? It's like an empty space. It's like a void. And you know, the thought system that resonates with truth, that's true for you. That's who you are. So that's automatically going to be the way that you're thinking when you're not pursuing worldly thoughts. It just automatically becomes the way that you're thinking. That's just how it goes. Now, I watch myself all day long going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. As soon as I have a sense that I'm thinking in the worldly sense, then I just deny meaning to that thought. How do I do it? I usually have some thought of the day. Well, maybe not usually. It always goes back and forth. Right now, there's a thought of the day, because I've been doing a Course in Miracles meditations in the morning, half-hour meditations, and it starts with a thought of the day, and I just resonate with that. So thought of the day for today is, I want to see things different. No, I am determined to see things differently. So all throughout the day, it's just like my mind will go back to that thought and notice what's there. Because when I'm determined to see things differently, it means that the way I see things right now isn't reality, is not reality. Okay. So I'm determined to see things differently, no matter what it is, because this perceived world, as long as I'm having a perception, I always am determined to see things differently. As long as I'm having any perception, I'm determined to see things differently. You know why? Because like Lori said, every single thought is a contraction. Every single thought hurts. Every thought of the world, not every thought of God, every thought of the world hurts. Okay. So what we would all rather do, and I hear all the funny stories about how uh that's not what we would really rather do. We would really rather keep on running around through cycles of birth and death and killing each other and all that bullshit forever. Right? That's what the ego thinks. But what we all want is to see through the world of separation. It's just not totally known. It's not known too much, I guess it seems like. But that's what we want. So that's my job or my function. The way A Course in Miracles says your function to demonstrate that it's not a reality through the particulars of your life. You just keep on demonstrating to your own mind that it's not a reality. It keeps on gripping you, and you keep on going back to what's true, or bringing the thought that's hurting you to the truth. So in this case, let's say the thought of the truth is the thought I have for the day, which is I am determined to see things differently. If it comes to a particular thing, let's see, I could even say, I am determined to see this situation around this particular thing differently. Like especially if it seems to be causing you pain. But every thought about the world is a painful thought. So definitely Akea and I were determined from way back then to see things differently, because we knew, we were like, whoa, okay. And it was so fun because she was in on it with me, and we got to go together and we were like, woo, this is so cool. And then we go on different adventures. At certain times we go on different adventures, and the ego always has some sad story. I was telling one of my friends, I got sad stories too, because my friend was telling me about how this, yeah, it's this, it's terrible. I've got no friends and no whatever, you know how it goes. And I go, yeah, I got sad stories too. Oh yeah, what's so sad about your thing? And I go, well, the most recent one that came up was I'm a writer who doesn't have space to write. It's like, ooh, so sad. Oh, there's like this sadness feeling and some teariness seem like it's kind of come out. Poor Hope. Oh, that's so sad. I just love that. I think it's so fun. I have such an awakening through something like that. I know it's not true. And I know I don't need anything to be different. That's the other thing. See, what's different about the way I handle a situation like that is I'm not looking to fix it. I don't want anyone to fix it for me either. I reacted in the moment, and I voiced the story in the moment, and then like a couple minutes later I go, that's a story that I've had for a long time. That's just a sad story. That does not mean anything at all, and I don't want you to do anything about it. So a couple days later, my son said something about how he said, I'm really good at breaking your concentration. And I said, no, you're not. I didn't mean that. I go, you are not one bit capable of breaking my concentration at all, much less being good at it. I'm just making a story up. That's what I mean about making stories. I was just making a story up about that, because that's a sad story, and sad stories are like heroin to a heroin addict. Okay, that's what it's like for the ego. The ego loves sad stories. Thank you, Cora. I appreciate it. Thank you, Kyle, too, for letting me know. Medium is the name of whatever contacts the dead. Only there's no dead. I think they're aware of it. They're aware that there's no dead. That's why the veil is so thin for certain people. It's like they're aware that there's no dead. I've never had anyone on the other side, you can say, and lost their body that I felt like I wanted to contact. I mean, as far as like my grandma, I just hear her voice all the time. So I don't feel like I need someone to go, hey, what is my grandma trying to tell me? Nothing important. It's just really, really loving. My dad recently passed away, and even comes to my mind. Just first passed, he was with me strongly, just letting me know that he totally loves me and accepts me. Just letting me know I love you and accept me and accept you. I'm like, I knew you love me and accept me the whole time. I'm glad you know now. And then he went away. I haven't heard from him in a little bit, but if you want to get a medium to communicate with them, those guys know that they're not dead. That's why they can communicate, because they're not dead. See, it's just a sense that you think that since they don't have a body, you can't talk to them anymore, and they can't talk to you, and you can't hear them. But whenever you hear their voice in your mind, that's it. Remember, they're you. They're you. So there's no difference. There's no difference between you imagining yourself having a conversation without a physical body being present, as it is with a physical body seemingly being present, because it's not even there. It's still imagined. It's still a dream. It's the same thing. So you decide, and you cut yourself off all the time. This is one thing we learned too, when we were in those channeling classes with the psychics, and it was a psychic what was it, psychic, it's like psychic training or something like that, psychic education. And what they say is like, you're all totally psychic. You always convince yourself that you're not. That's the thing. So the thought that convinces you that you're not, or compares you, or even takes note of what you've done in the past, that is not true. Right now, you've got all that power. You've got all the power. And when you're making a choice like that, you're always making a choice between truth and illusion. But when you're making a choice in consciousness, like with a, you're always changing everything across all time, all lives, with this awareness. So it's like, you may have a memory of yourself as a child in a particular situation, where you felt a certain way. Okay. When you have healing in your mind, it goes to that point in time. Remember, it never happened. It's being projected now. It goes to that point in time, and it heals the energy at that point in time. It goes across all time. So all these past and even future, all it is an accumulation in the mind. So that's being purified through seeing through just whatever it is that's in front of you. Just whatever it is that's right in front of you. That's all. You don't have to go back to the past or anything like that. Of what is in the moment. And I think Lori will attest that that's going on all day. Anytime you ask, unless your mind is focused, okay, on like let's say wisdom dialogue type stuff. It's kind of like I'm channeling when I'm talking with you, but I'm not like allowing an entity in. I'm channeling to the thought system that is true for all of us. That's our shared thought system. It's channeling the information from the thought system that resonates with the truth. It's kind of like that. And that's how it is when you're not upholding worldly thought. What's going to take the place of the worldly thought? Something has to come in and fill it. If there's no worldly thoughts to fill it, then the thoughts of the truth are going to come in and occupy your mind all day long. And it just makes it so glorious, because any thought of victimhood is met with this kind of prayerful, almost like a devotion kind of energy, kind of vibe. I was also talking with my mom today, And I thanked her for her devotion, because it was really prevalent to me. I think it was this morning, when I noticed myself being really devoted to seeing and not to pursuing thoughts. And the thought of my mom popped into my mind, and how my mom was always so devoted her whole life, to seeing the truth, to seeing through the truth. She would always be ready to thank the Lord and stuff like that. She'd get really stressed, but she'd always be willing to go back. And right now, it's such a blessing, because when she has a conversation with me, and I could just like say not very much at all, and she can come out of the stress really fast, I find that to be such a blessing. And she's getting on the block and doing block therapy at night, so she's working through, or it's kind of like you open up or you access the pain that you're harboring in your mind. That's kind of like what it is. So it's like harboring this pain in your mind, making it manifest, in her case, a lot in the legs, um like the legs are real heavy and not circulating and stuff like that. So it's like it manifests like that in a physical form. It's never because you're old. She tried to give me the old thing. I'm like, it's not because of old, because there's no such thing as old. Your body's only projected. There's nothing, it can't be that. See, we succumb. I'm not succumbing to that. I'm not the person to talk to if you want to succumb to old. Okay. Because that's not possible. Old isn't possible. We can only be projecting right now. There's no age on it, really. The age is only for the play. It's not real at all. Okay, so there's not old. It's not like you should be tired because you're 71 or however old you are. And that 71-year-olds are tired. Are they? Are they? Is that the story? I don't know. So my mom goes, I know, that's right, that's totally right. And then she started talking about something else that pained her. I forgot what it was, but then I said, Mom, that this, and she's like, oh yeah, you're right, thank you. And it's like, I don't really mind being right. That's like, I don't need to be right or something like that. But when someone can just come out of a delusional thought that fast, it's just really uplifting. It's a really uplifting, healing vibe. And that's what I love about healing. That's what the Course in Miracles said. You're entitled to miracles, like miracles just happening like that. That's a miracle. When my mom is stressing herself out over something, and then she instantaneously sees that it's meaningless, that's a miracle. Because it's like something that you've been worshiping, this idol that you've been worshiping to harm yourself, using it to harm yourself. Meanwhile, you're worshiping it. That's what idolizing is. So my mom was over it so fast. And it's so funny because this morning I was just noticing a thought about how my mom has always been so devoted. And then she just shows me a manifestation of it, in the same apparent day. There's not a day either. It's just that things are just kind of like coming together. So I had another interesting experience. I have this guy who's doing really big orders from me all of a sudden. It's like, and other stuff too, like for essential oils, Miracle Botanicals, really big, And then he just came back and wanted another really big order, like around $10,000 worth of essential oils orders. So I was coming around the corner, and one thing that I'm noticing too is whenever my top and bottom teeth touch, okay, so my brain or my brain is actually in my mind, is tuned into that now. Whenever my top and bottom teeth touch, which happens all day long, I didn't know, I had no idea that there was a thing about the top and bottom teeth not even supposed to be touching. I had no idea. But when I noticed is every time, and this is the reason they're not supposed to be touching, because every time they touch, that's a form of clenching. And so it makes the jaw really tight and stuff like that when there's a bunch of clenching. The way I look at it is every time there's clenching, there is an upset thought. Okay, there's some kind of an upset thought. So I was coming around this corner and there was a thought about, oh my God, what if this thing with this guy with all these big orders is a bad idea? And I noticed my teeth clenched, and then I look and then right in front of me is the clock and it says 111 on the clock. I'm just going, whoa. It's like the whole thing is like an acid trip. Okay. It's not like what you made of it. So it's like when we use our conditioned mind to make sense of the world, we think we've made sense of it, but we have made no sense of it. It's all just messages and symbols, messages and symbols, messages and symbols. And that doesn't mean to me the 111 like that that is just gonna go the way I want it to go. It means that this is perfect for you. This is an awakening experience, which it always is. It's just perfect. It's an awakening. It's an awakening. Whatever you got going with this order, with this guy, whatever's going on here, pay attention. It's an awakening experience, which is always the case for me, but I love the little messages. I love it. You notice the teeth, okay? Is that what you're saying? You notice the teeth, they'll just hit. It's hilarious. And then every time the teeth, it just becomes so obvious now. Even the front ones, even when I'm talking, I'll notice every time they do it. And just that little cluing in changes everything. So the thing is to know yourself. Know yourself. Like you're this bundle of thought. Learn what is going on there. What's hooking you? What's enticing you? Because you're projecting the world. Everything you think you see, it's because you've projected it, and you're projecting it right now. So watch what you're using to project it. It's interesting. It's fun. Who cares what happens in that? Who cares who's pissed at you? Who cares who's giving you stink eye? Who cares who thinks you're the most fucked up person in the world? Okay. I get some of that myself, and I just think it's fun. I had one friend come to Wisdom Dialogues on Friday, and he said, how can anyone not like you? And I go, I don't know. Why don't you go over to where they're having a dance later on tonight, and there's a couple hundred people from Pune there, and make an announcement, tell people that anyone who has shit to talk on Hope to come over and talk to you, and I bet you get a line. Okay, I bet you get a whole line. About how what I say is so wrong. Okay, there are stories. There are all kinds of stories. I mean, at one point, my daughter Akea was running around town telling all kinds of stories about what a fucked up person I was. And some people like to still hold on to that kind of stuff, right? And keep that stuff going. Even though Akea, she passed through that. She's like, okay, that was bullshit. My mom is me. I'm my mom. How can there be anything? But it's all a dream. Even what I just said, I know I'm projecting it, and that's why it's not a problem. I know I'm projecting the whole story. It makes it fun. It makes it interesting, right? One of my friends said, and Akea, she said, Mom, I think I'm messing you up for Wisdom Dialogues because I'm going around and I'm saying, she told me, she's like, I'm going around and I'm saying some shit about you. And it doesn't look good. I go, no, you're not messing up Wisdom Dialogues. It's perfect for Wisdom Dialogues. Keep going, because for me, I just like to get whatever it is. I don't want to try to stop anyone's expression. But I had a friend who just like really appreciated the teachings that were coming through me, and he was in town and he was telling people about they should listen to Hope Johnson and stuff. And then people go, how could you say we should listen to her? Look at her daughter, and her daughter is over there talking all this stuff about. He's like, yeah, but you should see her. She's fine. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. She's fine. And the thing is, and my relationship with my daughter stays intact because I'm not pissed at her about it. I don't even mind. I'm like, if you feel like you need to talk shit on me again, go ahead. It's perfect for me. How can it be anything different? It's like, give me your gift. whatever that is. Give me your gift, right? So I don't want to try to like, Akea, don't you ever talk shit on me again. Or else what? It's more like, man, if you got some shit to talk on me, go ahead. If it gets back to me, then I will have a wonderful time with a feeling reaction and demonstrating to my mind that that doesn't matter. Okay. Just imagine if anyone can say anything about you and you just don't mind. Oh, thanks. Oh, thanks. I mean, you can even just practice that right now in your mind. Someone says something like, what's the worst thing that you could be? The most scary, worst thing that you could be? You are irresponsible. Some people get triggered by that because they think they're really responsible. So someone goes, you know what, Chitta? I know Chitta really wouldn't care about this one. You are irresponsible. And you're like, oh, thanks. How about if it's the same? Like, Hope, you are so kind and compassionate and loving. Oh, thank you. Hope, you are so distant and uncaring, and you're making this world meaningless. Really pisses me off. Oh, thank you. See how it could just be the same? Because, it's all in your interpretation, like whatever you make of it. Nothing, none of that means anything. It's not really about you. But when you grip to one and resist the other, then you're using it in a different way. You're using it to appease the ego. You're using it to convince your mind that what you think you see is actually there. And the more you convince your mind of that, the more upsetting this world becomes. I think it's so cute when someone tells me that they could just make this world really happy. They have a choice and they could just make this world really happy by saying that it's a really good, happy world. And I'm like, okay, we'll do that for a decade and see how that works. Because the thing is, you don't believe that when you're getting an upset feeling. You don't really believe that. They're saying this is a happy, happy world. No, it's not. You didn't make it a happy world. People fucking die in it. You did not make it into a happy world. What makes you think you're going to get better at it? Right? You think you're going to get better at making it into a happy world? Can you make eternal bodies? Can you make anything eternal? If you can't make anything eternal, you're never going to make anything that satisfies you. Pipe dreaming, thinking this world has anything that satisfies. You actually don't even want anything here. You think you want things here. Oh, desire, so beautiful. Oh, I just want that car, for instance. I just want my hands on the wheel of that car. I just want to feel my hair blowing with the windows down. I just want that. Oh, I just want that thing. You don't want it. Or that body. Oh, that nice round booty. Ooh, yeah. You don't really want it. You think you want it because you think it has power to give you a feeling that only you project. And you can like give yourself a permission to project that right now. It's okay. You project that happy feeling right now. You don't need to think for it. You don't need an idol. You don't need something to idolize for it. It's all you projecting. Are the teachings getting better, or am I now paying attention? It's you. It's you. The teaching's been the same the whole time. Go back to Hope Johnson 2009. Okay? I think I got a little bit more articulate as time went on, but like I'll get things across my feed from like way back, and I'm like, shit, I was fucking saying it then. And you know what? The thing is, I didn't realize the depth of it then either. I was saying So, that's how it is though. It's like it keeps on going deeper until you just see through the whole world. That's our goal, to see through the world. And when we're gosh, I love being around people who are willing to see through the world. I'm so glad that's my experience these days. Because I was just talking about how, man, me and Ikea were a couple of mall chicks, find out the world isn't real because she took a class, high school class, find out the world isn't real, get all excited about it. We don't know what the heck we're doing. Right. And then I start getting a load of these teachings like channelings and stuff like that. I'm like, whoa, I know this stuff. Why am I keeping it for myself? Like, why am I keeping this for myself? I know this stuff. I can just tap right into this stuff. Teaching is powerful today. Yay. Thank you. Thank you, Niall. Thanks for making it like that. I appreciate you. One of my friends was getting upset. And, I don't think he realized he was upset. Nothing came out of me to try to anyways say anything about it. But talking about the government, okay, so there's something about the government, something that the government didn't do, and there's some kind of tone that goes along with that. I know I taught him that. God, it's so funny. So there's like a tone that goes along with it. And I noticed myself get mildly triggered. Here's the thing about mildly triggered. It's just the same as a really intense trigger to me. Because a mild trigger, it's just veiling like an intensity. All it's doing is veiling an intensity. It doesn't mean it's less of a trigger. It's not less because it's mild. It's veiled intensity. Okay. So I noticed a mild trigger. And then for me, what I'm doing there is just allowing myself to be released. I'm not trying to teach anyone anything. I don't try to teach anyone anything. Okay. There's a certain vibe. I know the vibe of trying to teach someone something. It's a tone. It's like an energy. Okay. It's an energy play. Anytime I'm trying to teach someone something, it's bad news. There is a reaction going on. And so I'm like listening to what he's talking about, and also noticing what's going on in the energy field, and I'm having compassion within. I'm allowing compassion for myself because there's an upset, kind of like a reacting to someone seeming angry about government stuff. Okay, there's a tone that arises there, and I know he's attacking himself. Okay. In my dream, though, I don't really have to take him, do anything to him, make him see or anything. If he wants to see, he will. But I just don't join in it. It's like what I find myself in the manifestation, just like, oh, kind of like, is that so? Oh, is that right? Oh, okay. And then back to whatever I was focusing on before. So a friend asked me, what do I do if I've got someone who's really close to me and they really want to believe that they're sick? Well, the only reason you're asking, and they're getting defensive too, whenever, my friend didn't use the word defensive, but that's the word that comes to mind for me. Whenever someone's going, you know what, maybe that works for you, but it doesn't work for me. Okay. I'm sick. Right. Okay. So that's what I'm calling it, defensiveness. Not that really means anything, but it's just help to pointing. So that defensiveness is coming from you. When they're going, okay, that might have worked. Oh yeah, that might work for you, but it doesn't work for me. That defensiveness is actually coming from you. My fair share of that too, because I'm always talking about the truth. So someone will go, well, maybe that's your thing, but it's not my thing. And you know what? That's fine with me. It doesn't matter how close they are to me. That doesn't matter. If I'm getting a reaction to that, that's awesome. I could take care of the reaction like any reaction because it's all generalized. There's not any special, sometimes we hold something out as special, like, oh, this one's special since they're, since they're reacting to me like that, this is bad. They shouldn't be reacting to me like that. They shouldn't be acting like I'm not sane. Once in a while, I get people reflecting back to me that I'm insane. And, that's great, because the sense that I'm insane is coming from me. So I just say thank you. That's the whole thing. All these things, all these barbs, all these things, they're just for playing. They're just for play. It smooths out all the energy when it's just like, thank you. There's kind of like a draw to tell them something, right? Knows that pull to tell them something. Someone told me something like, I just think you take everything way too lightly. And I go, thank you. Take that lightly too. Here's a demonstration how to take something lightly. You can. When you get a sense, oh, this is the worst, like you have some kind of perception, oh, damn it, this is the worst. Just play. This is the worst is on a pattern. It's just coming around. It's not even personal. The things that you seem to see that seem to make it, oh, this is the worst, they're not even there. You just projected them so you can get that feeling that's coming around again and again and again. You got to justify it. Your mind is powerful to make illusions and is justifying thoughts that are meaningless and unworthy of you. The less there is of ego, the less there is of defense. There is nothing to defend. Yeah, the ego has nothing to do here. That's it. Basically, you take away the ego's job. It just has nothing to do here because there's nothing to defend. So you make it clear to your own mind through demonstration that there's nothing here to defend. So then the ego doesn't have a job to do. There's nothing there to defend. That rules out meaning for so many thoughts, so many different thoughts all day long. You can have all the time to think on God all day because you don't have to spend any of your time chasing down thoughts that are only going to make you upset and make you in conflict with your friends and family. There's no need for that. Make you feel like a victim. It's always like when you don't have what you want, you feel like a victim. But look, you don't know what you want. You don't get it. You don't know what you want. So the common thing is to go around manipulating situations. Like I would have people say like, well, if you don't have enough room to write, if you feel like you don't have enough room to write, don't you think you should get your family give you some space? And I'm like, no, I don't think I should do that. If I find myself asking for space, I don't mind. I haven't been finding myself even interested in doing anything like that because it's just not appealing to me to try to chase down space that I don't know if I really need. And the funny thing is, what's funny? I write like a mofo. It's just silliness. It's not even really real. It's just silly shit. It's like in that moment, there didn't seem to be the space for writing. And my mind in that moment thought that there should be. And my mind, there's never enough. And then I just didn't believe it. So then I didn't have to try to change anyone. In fact, I told my husband, that's nothing. It's meaningless. I've been playing that out for a long time. It's just a sad story that I'm not interested in anymore. I'm moving over. It got really sunny. I guess it gets really, I don't remember. I guess it gets really sunny before it actually goes away. So you're going to have a different view. So I could be nice and cool while we're doing this. Yay. All these perspectives. The ego's favorite position seems to be the victim. Yep, that's right. That's right. So you get people saying shit to you, apparently because you project them like that trigger you. When that occurs, thank you. Give me your gift. See, give me your gift. Thank you. When people say something that triggers you because you wanted them to trigger you. And you were going to use that trigger for healing. Just that the ego has a different plan for that trigger, and that is to use it to project your victimhood. Okay. Got it. I see how it's scary for people to walk out the door. Not because of COVID or something. I mean, you got that going too. I don't know. I think it changed into a different name now or something. I heard there's 10 times more cases at this point in time than there was when they were mad fucking funny or what? I got a big kick out of that illusion. But anyways, I see why people are tripping out trying to like leave their house, like being scared of leaving their house, because like you could barely leave your house and get this perception, and it just seems like it ruins your whole freaking day. You know, someone looks at you wrong, someone says something to you wrong. Oh gosh, someone maybe texted you, or maybe they said something on Facebook about you. And then it's just like totally like jacks your whole day. Now you can't even pay attention. Now it's whirlwinding around. No wonder, man. That'd be on edge all the time, you know, like feeling so uncomfortable, like I got to get out of here, and I feel trapped. And you know, people often move thinking that they feel uncomfortable and they feel trapped because of where they are, and then they go somewhere else, and guess what? You don't get out of it that way. If you could get out of it by moving, everyone would just move. You don't get out of it that way. You kind of have a honeymoon with the new place because you haven't made your impression yet on everyone. You know, you're still teaching them about you. You teach them about who you are. Once they learn about who you are, because you taught them, you start getting the stink eye again. And then your brain starts going about what did I do? What do they think of me? How dare they, or whatever. And it just goes on and on like that. So maybe today's the day where you take something like that, take that whirlwind of thought. This is very common. You don't have to be, you know, feeling like you're like not far along because you get these things coming up. They're great. You just use them. Anytime you get a trigger, on anything, specifically right now, we're just talking about like when you get a trigger based on someone giving you a stink eye or saying something mean about you or something like that. Look at that whirlwind. It's you talking to yourself over and over and over again, offering gratitude in your mind. And the next time you see that baka, you're just like, hey, you'd love them. That's how it is for me. I just love people up. It's like, oh, okay, I guess all that's forgotten. Yes, it is. It doesn't mean anything. It would never even happen. And, you know, a lot of the times it's just not even mentioned. Right? You're moving too, Ann? You got hit, huh? Ooh, strong today. I was just talking about how What a beautiful breeze though, huh? God, how glorious it is. It's like nice and hot right now. I was in the sun too, and just like sweating balls all over the place. Um, and then tonight I'll have a beanie on probably. Like it'll get really cold and I'll have a beanie for me. I don't know what temperature that is. It's probably like 68. But man, I'm like, ooh, that's cold. I'm trying to have a smoke out on my patio. I got a beanie on, I'm all bundled up with the smoke. I'm like this. I love the illusion. It's just so fun. It occurred to me too. I had a sense last night. Oh gosh, can I just go one smoking? You know, it just occurred to me last night. I know, isn't that fun? And it immediately, the thought for the day was, I want to see, or I'm determined to see. I'm determined to see was the thought for the day. Thought of the day turned on, I am determined to see. So I'm determined to see means you're determined to see. You're not so determined to do or stop doing shit. Acting like you have a choice. That's not seeing. So it's like when the truth is seen, that thought is meaningless. It's completely meaningless. Why do I care? Why do I care if I get a perception of myself smoking or not? See, so what's given me there is something to help everyone who goes through that, because I taught them all to be like that. Everyone who goes through that, this idea of, oh, I gotta quit or something like that. And it's funny because I'm sitting here talking to you guys and I kind of like looking in the mirror, you know, I got a camera going on and I'm noticing my teeth are fucking white. That just cracks me up over here talking about smoking. And I'm like, wow, those are some pearly white teeth. So, and none of it's really relevant. I love it when the scents come up. And, you know, as long as this thought is circulating in the mind, I want it to come up for me as if there's some kind of problem, getting the sense as if there's some kind of problem with smoking so that I can resolve it. And that's how it is for everything that comes up. I don't have to, oh gosh, Lord, please let me quit smoking. It's like when I find myself smoking or even thinking about smoking, I bring it to the truth. That doesn't mean I'm supposed to stop smoking. It's a fucking dream. I don't have a choice in it. I mean, it's so funny that we think we have a choice. That cracks me up. So that's another thing. When the thought occurs to me, I just know that I don't have a choice in it, that I'm watching a show. So I don't have to try to get myself to be a certain way. Sure, it might be like, oh, what does it feel like to not smoke? What does it feel like to smoke? They're both the same. So yeah, and so like as long as I find myself apparently smoking, that is useful. Whatever it is that I find myself doing, it's useful to the Holy Spirit, and therefore it's useful to me. That's what it's for. Okay. 68 is freezing. I agree. There's no need for that, Lori. There's no need for 68. No need for it unless you find yourself in it. Then you need it. I was so happy from yin yoga. This is not L. I was so happy from yin yoga and in bliss as I turned on my phone. I had one of my favorite clients upset at me for something that was not my fault, out of my control. All that bliss state was gone. Don't you love that? It's so funny. It's like, how the heck, you know, you're like thinking, yin yoga, it feels so good. And it's like, look at it. It's like, what? How could he do that to me? I was just in a blissful state. How could he do that to me? How can we not care about those that seem to be important? Okay, good. I love this question. Thank you, Niall. How can we not care about those? Okay, so it's not a matter of not caring. Okay. It's not like that. You don't care like that though. This is ego caring because it's all like, oh my God, bells and whistles. You need relief right now. You just need relief. That's very caring. It helps everyone. It helps the person who seems to be upset with you too. The person who seems to be upset with you, the last thing they want from you is to join them in feeling upset, which you can't do anyways, because you can't join an upset, but you can project it. That's the last thing they want, is for you to start projecting upset feelings into the field. Okay. That's not why they're telling you that they're upset, because they want you to be upset. It's not true. They might even think they want you they want you to be upset. They might think, man, Nael better be really upset about this, because that's how I think things are going to be get done. If Nael gets really upset about this. But you know what? Really, they don't want that from you. They want your ease, because that's something that you can actually join. They can join your ease. See, you join their mind. It's kind of like you and join their mind in ease. So kind of look at it as a service. It's very caring. Okay. So it's like you join with them in the ease that you both are. So it's like, oh my goodness, there's a huge reaction. Watching where your mind is running. I want to take care. I want to do this. I want to fix it. I want whatever. Watch where your mind is running around and notice that you're making a choice thinking like that's how you care. Do you care? Is that how you care for someone? Pursuing an ego thought, right? How can you care for someone pursuing an ego thought? That's the ego's game. So the thoughts, they're going to take care of themselves. And seek first the kingdom of heaven, right? So first things first, you need compassion. You got the big bells and whistles going off, horns, everything. You need compassion, because nothing is happening here. And anything that needs to transpire will transpire as a matter of course. See? You need to see that. There's nothing you need to do. The doing is taking care of itself already. See, I find myself doing all kinds of things all day long, and I know I don't do anything. I know there's this fear, like if you don't think that you're the doer, and the other person is going to be playing that with you too, because that's how you taught them. If you don't think right now that you don't need to do something right now, then you got another thing coming. Because if you still want me as a client, you are not going to keep me with that kind of attitude. You don't have to give them any kind of inclination or anything that you are aware that you don't really do anything. You don't have to give that kind of argumentative kind of energy out. You demonstrate it. That's completely different, right? And you know how you demonstrate it? It's not of yourself. It's not of yourself. That's a gift that comes through you when you allow yourself to be met with compassion, while you're having a perception that compassion is totally out of the question right now, because you need to get on your horse and do some shit. Remember, seek first the kingdom of heaven. Okay. And if you forget about that and you get all stressed out and you run around, that night when you go back to bed, when you go lay down on bed, reflecting in that moment, you're having another opportunity to accept healing for the situation. All it is the same. It comes up, you start having thoughts about how you could have done it better, should have done it better, screwed it up, anything, and you just allow yourself to have release. And in that, what does it take to allow yourself to have release? You're noticing that you're getting an upset feeling by pursuing those thoughts, and you're deciding that those thoughts are not worthy of you. They're not worthy of you if you're getting an upset feeling. But the default is for you to think that those thoughts are worthy of you because you messed it up and you need to do better next time. Okay. And when you think you need to do better next time and you mess it up and you put all of that stress, you're just projecting for more of the same kind of feeling, tone, again and when you're willing to embrace what's transpiring for you, that totally changes. You don't go for that same tone anymore. At one point, you're going to use that same healing tone and you're going to kind of like burn it all out. You're just going to let it play out in your energy field without making it meaningful, in a sense of gratitude. Like, yes, thank you. I'm so glad. It seems like I screwed that thing up and pissed this client off. This is exactly what I need. That's how those kinds of energies get resolved. Dissolved is another word. I don't care which one you use. They're both good to me. All right. That's anyone other client would not have mattered to me. That's the hook. That's the perfect hook. See? If it's just some client that doesn't fucking matter, then there's not much of a hook there, is there? It seems like it's easier. So that's the hook. It's perfect for you. And you know, you'll get so much juice out of that. It may have seemed to have happened in the past, but every time it crosses your awareness, you're getting more juice out of it. You're getting more gifts out of it. So it's like, look at whatever it is that occurs for you, especially if you think that it's bad. It's such a gift. And when you're willing to see it that way, you'll see that it's really meaningless and you stop being afraid of making mistakes or pissing anyone off or anything like that. I think it's a great feeling. I love it. You know, when I used to work for a law firm, I used to get such a fearful feeling whenever I went to the mailbox. So back in those days, there wasn't online filing like there is now. We actually mailed everything. So I would use a computer. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago I had a computer. You know, it was actually, when I worked there, switched from DOS to Windows. So I had some pretty fancy looking documents going out at that time, because now I'm using Windows. It looked way different than what we were using before. But I'm doing all these legal documents, and I'd go to the mailbox at the end of the day and my heart would sink at the mailbox because I'd just be so scared that I screwed something up. I never wanted to make any mistakes. I did not accept mistakes from myself at all. I had to get it perfect. I would double check and make sure I always got it perfect. And I did a shitload of work too. It was always like really good. There were a couple occasions where it wasn't, where I did something or apparently did something where it went awry. And you know what I realized through that? It's not that big of a deal. It really wasn't that big of a deal. I put so much pressure on myself. Don't screw it up. That it was not as fun as it could have been, because there's like this sense like I could get it wrong and it could be the wrong thing. But once and it was the one mistake that sticks out in my mind, it, you know, would strike me as a pretty big one, kind of like what Niall was talking, just this one client, you know. This was an attorney that worked in our firm. He was a senior attorney. He was in his 70s, and I just love him. I still see him on Facebook through his daughter, who's also an attorney. And he was going for a court hearing on something that I wrote up. And he got there and I didn't do it correctly. Like it didn't even get on the docket. So he drove probably like a couple hours each direction. And the case wasn't even, because I didn't what it was supposed to do as far as getting it in there to be heard. Now, this is something that would never occur for me, but in this particular case, it was just perfect. In the courthouse, and he got a card, and he made a card, and he wrote me a little card, let me know what happened, because he knew that I would be so bummed out. So he stopped by and he got me a card and let me know that it didn't occur, and that he'll go back again when I get it back on the calendar correctly. And you know, I just took that teaching as, wow, it's just really not a big deal. It's like a common thing, and it's like part of the illusion too, to try to hook you. So, it's like I could have gone either way on that. I could have been like, oh my God, I gotta get better and stuff. But it really, it gave me a sense of ease, because it was like, oh, thank goodness it finally happened. I finally messed something up. I kind of, that's like really like a big deal too. You're having the senior attorney drive a couple hours each way. And it just showed me it just wasn't a big deal. It didn't ruin our relationship or anything. But what would have ruined our relationship if I took on the guilty feeling anyways? And that's what people do. And I think that's why the guy got me a card, because he wanted to make sure I wasn't going to take on a guilty feeling, because that's going to be way worse than having him go drive around and not have a court hearing on the office now with a feeling. Such sweetness. Shit happens. And the reason it is, and it doesn't happen too, because it's dream, but the reason it's apparently happening is for healing. So when we recognize it's for healing and we can forgive, you'll see other people will forgive you too. The more guilt you try to project, the more those who feel guilty will try to join you in projecting. Okay. The ones who feel guilty are going to try to join you in projecting. So, I'll brush up against some people who are feeling guilty now and again. And, they might say something to me, and they could just tell by my reaction, by my response, that that's not meaningful to me. They'll just kind of be like, oh, okay, just not going there. I don't have anything to defend or explain or justify or anything like that. I don't think the same way as everyone. And, none of us really think the same way. I was cruising around with one friend last week, and she was telling me how she had a headache and she might barf, right? So I'm like, oh, okay, didn't really think much of it, right? And then we're cruising, and then I'm making this left-hand turn, and it's this particular turn where it's got like a bumpy road, and I got a 4Runner, it's a 4-wheel drive. So I like put my foot on the gas to make this one turn that I like to make, because it's kind of like a bumpy turn, pulling into Hawaiian Sanctuary. I think you guys know it. Some of you do. And does. You probably take that curve really slow, right? When you turn into Hawaiian Sanctuary with all the potholes and stuff. I take it really fast. I like it. I like, yeah, I'm gonna go for that. Yeah, I'm in a 4Runner. Woo! So I take that curve, and immediately my friend thinks I'm trying to rush to get her out of my car, so she doesn't barf in my car. And I'm like, that thought never even crossed my freaking mind. I heard you say that, but I didn't like register, oh my God, she might barf in my car. It's just like one funny example about how we don't know what we're thinking. Like, we don't know what each other's thinking. We're just projecting what the other person might be thinking based on our own experience. Maybe like if she's driving in her car and someone says they're going to barf, all of a sudden she wants to get them the fuck out of her car. I don't know. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm just not scared of that, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I don't even think of it as like, I guess I don't even think of it as a possibility. I don't know. I've always had people be able to get their head out of there somehow. At least you get the head out, I can hose the outside off. I'm sure you can manage that. I don't know. I never even thought that it would just be all over my car. But yeah, we always imagine that we can know what another person is thinking about the situation or about us, but we just have completely different lenses on everything. We're totally just guessing. Like something that we might think is, oh, this is the worst thing. This is the worst thing ever. Another person think that's just so mild. Like you might go, I just paid $38,000 for all these crystals. Oh, by the way, my daughter Akea is starting a crystal business, and this is really big news. So exciting! It just came back to me. We got the domain name. Well, I got it. I'm just going to transfer it over to her. I just bought it because I'm used to buying domain names, and we were talking and I was excited. So her domain name is going to be crystalecstasy.com. That website was available. That web domain was available. So that was just like obvious. Crystalecstasy.com. It's not live yet, but that's where my daughter Ikea is going to be selling the most amazing crystals. She showed me videos of them and pictures and stuff, and they are really good at what she does. So say you bought like $38,000 worth of crystals, right? And they only take up about this much. They're really that big, right? And someone sees that and goes, oh my God, that is so wasteful. That is terrible. Another person sees it, goes, oh, you paid for raping the earth, right? There's all these different kinds of judgments that can come up, right? Another person looks at it and goes, oh, that's a really good deal. Only $38,000 for those. See, it's just all different. And the money is totally meaningless. And the earth, it's totally meaningless. I know this makes people freak out sometimes. The earth, as you made it, is completely meaningless. Earth as being is reality. It's the same as you. It's not separate. Okay. It's not earth as you know it. Earth as you know it is completely meaningless. It can't be raped. Oh, you're on Instagram, already selling shit. Oh my gosh. Okay. Underscore ecstasy on Instagram. And she's doing live sales. She's actually running live sales on Instagram. She's freaking on it. This chick is on it. You talk about on it. She's a manager. She knows what's up. When she gets excited about something, and this is how it started for her, the same way essential oil started for me. She just got more crystals than she needed. She just got excited about buying crystals. And so she's sharing them. And yeah, they're really beautiful. She was going, I don't know, it's going to be hard for me to even give these up. But I do have so many of them. I do want to sell them too. So have fun with that. At crystal_ecstasy on Instagram. Yay, Kaya. And while I'm making community announcements, I could use a house cleaner. So anyone who would like to come and clean my house, let me know. You just started following her. All right, Niall. Cool. I'm going to follow her too. Maybe I'll be on Instagram a little bit more. I barely ever go on there. Speaking of Instagram, I haven't been doing my wisdom bits last week, and I didn't do my stuff for Miracle Botanicals. I don't have a staff anymore. I don't know if all of you guys know. I let my staff go. I'm actually having someone come back tomorrow, though, to do a couple things for me. She's going to do some labels and stuff. And you know what? I'm going to do a wisdom bit, and I'm going to do something for Miracle Botanicals on Instagram. So also follow Miracle Botanicals at Miracle Botanicals on Instagram, and Awesome Hope Johnson on Instagram. Yay. And then also Blaze, he's still chilling on there. What is he on Instagram? I forgot. At Hell in Paradise, maybe? I think he's going to change the name of his company because he didn't realize, when he came up with Hell in Paradise, he didn't realize that some people were going to take it as like he's some kind of like devil guy or something like that. That's not the kind of connotation he was trying to give off. If you read what he wrote about it, it's kind of like, hey, we can make any hell a paradise or any paradise a hell. It's all in the mind. You can tell he's like my son, right? But some people are going, we will not support anything with hell in the name. So we'll see. Oh, and Random Blaze, at Random Blaze. That's my son Blaze. He's fun too. So I don't know. He might change the name, but for now, he's working at a restaurant though, and I won't tell you where it is right now, unless he tells me it's all good to let a bunch of people know where he is, because people do come up to him and go, oh my gosh, you're Hope Johnson's son. So that's funny. Money. Oh my gosh, that just popped into my head like loud. Money, money, money. Money, money, money actually doesn't mean anything, 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 anything. So I had a sense that I was going to not be able to pay my bills, which I was like, okay, that's cool. We'll do that. We'll play that game. Not be able to pay credit cards and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, I paid them. Didn't pay them off, but made some payments. And I was like, interesting. So it keeps on going like that. I don't know how it goes or anything, but just really don't mind. Don't mind how it goes. It just that really doesn't matter. And it's also magic too. That's the other thing, you know. And watching my mind as far as narrating where it's going, like trying to narrate where it's going. Okay. Oh my gosh. So it was so trippy how it went because it kept on going down, down, down. Sales just kept on going down, down, down. It's like, okay, we're watching. Got to a point where they're going like down to like such a small amount. It's less than what I pay to my staff. So I was like, you know what, you guys, it's probably a good time for you guys to go on unemployment right now so that me and Tony can just do this stuff because there's not much to do. So let them go. Not less than a few days later, things start going in the other direction where there's like all this business and stuff. And we're going, oh, yeah, but we could do it. So we're just doing it. Me and Tony, we're just finding ourselves like motivated for doing it ourselves and just bringing people in. And then we'll see. It's just like, see how that goes. But the thing to watch is the narrative about where it's going, because that's how I noticed what was going on. And another thing is, uh, everyone is with you on experiencing the effects of whatever thoughts you're pursuing. Everyone is experiencing the effects of the thoughts you're pursuing. So when I get a sense that, oh no, there's not enough to go on, I don't start making projections though about what the future is going to hold. I just stay in, I don't know. I don't know. So there's the play of, okay, letting all the employees go. I'm watching that play. I'm noticing that it seems like I wouldn't like to let the employees go, but I find myself letting the employees go. What do? Bring that thought to the truth that I don't like. It seems like I don't like letting my employees go. I don't know what's in my best interest. That's why it seems like I don't like what is apparently happening. That is and was in my best interest. And when I open up to it, I can see the different ways in the apparent reality, how they're in my best interest, but even more so in that opening that I'm getting through everything that I have a perception of, through the opening and the embracing and the seeing more through the manifestation. So there will be like maybe a trajectory. People get hooked by trying to make a trajectory of, okay, if we're only making this much every day, which seemed like, I don't know, we were selling like, I don't know, 4 orders a day or something, got really low. And staying in, not knowing, I don't know how it can go. There was a sense that when the credit cards come up to be due, that's not going to be able to happen. There was a sense that it's not going to be able to happen. And also holding it in, but I don't know. But I don't really know. So anything go, but it's interesting because now I got a sense that we're just going to pay all those bills and turn it out. But I don't know. I still don't know. Now I got a sense that it is. Now I got a sense that it isn't. Now I got a sense that it is. It's just even getting the sense of it's going to succeed or it's going to fail is just all nothing. Okay. It's just a play. So in watching the play and not minding how it's going, watch what minds how it's going. That's the ego. That's saying, I know what's in my best interest. I know what I need. How about, I know what I need and it's not this. That believe that, okay? I could see it brewing. I could see it brewing. It's really sweet. It's like there's these daggers for me, but underneath it, and it comes also, it comes and goes. It is so funny. It'll pop up about what a terrible person I am because I don't make the world real. And then it'll come up where there's a request for advice on feeling better and more relaxed. Okay. Or just wanting to someone to hold the space and just it. Yeah, at some point I think they'll be like, yeah, fuck yeah, that's a awesome mom. If not, no worries. I love him. I love him just the way he is. I have so much fun with him just the way he is. It cracks me up. And you know what? He's super loving and always wants all kinds of hugs and sweetness too. There's where there's a pull draw toward a delusional thought pattern. There'll be toward a delusional thought pattern. There will be this tunnel vision where it's just like all this reacting. But when I just hold the space for, yeah, you saw Braun, when I just hold the space for the reacting to take place, it goes away. It's like this, you guys. It's just like a little. So when someone's reacting in your field and they seem to be projecting it onto you, just rest, just wait. Let yourself have compassion, wait. It goes up, it comes back down, and then you know grateful because you didn't make it real. You didn't make their reacting real. You know, when you're not into making the world real, you're also not into making their reacting real. And the thing is about their reacting, it's just passing through. So if you grab it and make it real, it's like you make conflict in your relationship because now you weren't there to hold them. And what does being there to hold them really look like? But allow to have compassion and not be trying to hold on to this passing emotion someone's expressing. And that's how the delusional mind is. It just pops up with some kind of story and feeling. And a lot of the times it'll be projecting onto you because you seem to be the one who's there, maybe even the one who caused it. Okay. So when you're a parent and you have kids, a lot of it is, or if you're a kid and you have a parent, which you do, a lot of it is about making the parent wrong because it seems like we made them. It's a feeling of insignificance and feeling like we as a parent made them like that because they didn't do it right. We didn't right. And that's why they're not good enough, not smart enough, not whatever enough. So yeah, he told me he told me about himself. He goes, I'm just dumb as shit. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're actually smart as shit, telling yourself you're dumb as shit all the time, and then making that into a self-fulfilling prophecy. He's like, oh, you really think I'm smart? And I go, yes, it's you are deciding that you're not. This goes for everyone. This goes for you too. Okay. Your mind is all powerful. All right. If you've been acting like you're not smart, like you can't learn something or you can't do something or something like that, the thing is, anything that you don't learn or do is something you don't need to learn or do. That's all. It's not because you're not smart. That's not it. You're an all powerful mind. See, and the difference between like someone who's conditioned like I am, I was just conditioned as a child. I was a Christian missionary, and I knew that all of the power comes from the spirit and not from me. So I didn't have to sit around and think whether I was smart or not. And I just knew that anything I wanted to do, the spirit through me would get it done, get her done. I could be your house cleaner. Bob Shine, you want to be my house cleaner? No, nope. I'll let you know if you're. I'll let you know if it resonates with you. But thank you for the offer. I love it, Bob. You're awesome. I love you. I'm gonna see you tomorrow. You're coming over. I love that. Smart is meaningless. That's right. It's totally meaningless. So it's not like that. Like you think you think you know what's in your best interest, right? And then you think, oh, I'm not even smart enough to get that. Well, you're fucked. Think you know what's in your best interest, and then you can't even achieve it. Ah, terrible. No, you're all powerful mind. So you're apparently learning anything you need to apparently learn to get the lessons that you need to awaken from a dream where you learned to kill yourself and everyone else. That makes it really exciting, whatever it is you seem to be learning or doing. Right now, he's memorizing a menu. It's so sweet. He's good at it. He's going to memorize the whole menu, all the ingredients. Fuck yeah. That's how you get determined, right? Like, yeah, yeah, I think I want to be in the know. I think I want to know what's up when I walk up to a customer's table and they ask me, what are the ingredients in that sauce? It just rolls right off my tongue. That just sounds fun. I always liked that when I was a waitress. I'd impress them. I'd learn the beers in alphabetical order. There were like 15 beers or something. What kind of beer do you have? And I put them in alphabetical order, and then I learned them that way. So I just go, oh, here they all are in alphabetical order. Just for fun. Thank you, Hope. I have an early flight. Yay. Tomorrow I'll listen. Oh, I'm leaving anyway. It's almost 5 o'clock. Thank you, Lori. That was so awesome. Thank you for being with me. I appreciate everyone. Thanks, everyone, for joining me on Wisdom Dialogue. It's so much fun to relate with you. I just love our little community here. Really appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for joining with me to see the truth and to share with an open heart and sink in. I'm so grateful. So what do I have going on? My newsletter. Sign up for my newsletter at miraclebotanicals.com. Go to miraclebotanicals.com. You're going to get a pop-up there. It'll offer you 10% off if you enter your email address. Enter it there. I have really fun newsletters going out there. That's where I write the most right now because I'm mostly finding myself doing customer service type stuff. I'm the one shipping your orders out now, making invoices, stuff like that. So I write the most. I think I write the most there as anywhere that's public. I'm also still working on my book, The Way to the Way. It could take as long as it wants. I don't mind. It's a really good book. I posted a couple of passages from it recently on my Facebook page. I just like took 3 different little passages from it and put little spaces between them and put them on the Facebook group. Wisdom Dialogues Online is what it's called. Thanks so much. I love you. I love you, Kyle. Yay. Thank you for joining. So that's a good place. Also, Telegram. I hope on Telegram. I will be on Instagram tomorrow. That's Awesome Hope Johnson at Awesome Hope Johnson. I'll also show up on at Miracle Botanicals tomorrow because my photographer who used to work for me is coming back to do a couple product listings for me, and she would, I'm sure, love to do some videos with me too. So that'll be fun. And then hopejohnson.org. Of course, you can get my book, Unschooling for Parents, and you can do other stuff there, like watch my videos and link to Miracle Botanicals, and you can send me donation. Definitely appreciate donations. And I'm also offering one-on-one whenever I fit it in. I'm not the best at scheduling stuff. So, you might have to like kind of hound me a little bit, but then I get it scheduled and we're on. So much fun. Monday is my favorite day. Oh, I love you, Cora. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, everyone, unless someone wants to raise their hand and ask me a question or something, I do feel complete and I love you so much. Asana, thank you. Thank you for looking through the illusion with me. She said, thank you for helping us see through the illusion. So yeah, I'm so grateful to, I guess, be in that role in this dream and to join with you in seeing through the illusion together. Yay. I love you so much. All right, everyone. Until next Monday, or if you see me on Friday, catch me on Friday over at Hawaiian Sanctuary, 3 to 5 every Friday. Mahalo, aloha, and a hui ho.